Like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat on the way in. Fair use, fair use, fair use, fair use.
And so therefore now we're in the, we're in the 21st century, and we have media and propaganda and movies and all this other stuff, and the image of white womanhood is everywhere, and black women don't get to have like their own space, and all that is the fault of black men's collective failure of not winning a race war. So black women are just going to sit around and they're just going to be angry and mad until black men win a race war. And what else? What else? What else I was going to say about until black men win a race war, and atone for the sins of failure for black women, so that black women can feel, what the white woman, has basically takes for granted, right? And then there's the aspect of where, like, not only do black women want to feel like superior and promoted in the standard of beauty and all that, they want other women to feel insecure, because black women have been made to feel insecure about, who they are, their identity, and black men are a part of that. How dare we even look at other races of women and find them attractive? No, we must make it known that the black woman is our first choice and our preference to the highest order. Doesn't matter that the majority of black men are marrying black women. That does not matter. What matters are who the high profile black men are, who the wealthiest black men are, who they're picking, who they're choosing, because that is what everybody sees. And so all of those men have to be on code, on top of winning a race war. Because, them just simply being, I mean, it's bad enough that you lost the race war, but it's even worse that you lost the race war and you're out here cavorting with the enemy, right? And that's how these women view it. So black men owe black women reparations for losing the race war. So anything that we do is it's like back taxes. Like there is no, we're not what do you want to call it? We're not, is it paying it forward? We're not we're not like doing it as some sort of mutual exchange. No, this is debt that has accrued interest. You see. So anything we do, anything that you build, any positive thing that you, any resources that you acquire, you're supposed to just hand a portion of your resources over to black women like tithes, right? Because that's what you're supposed to do, right? Because you owe black women. So they're like the church to sit there and collect.
Hey, my more.
What's going on, yo? What's going on? What's going on? Yes, that was Sarge Willie Pete. And yes, that is the beginning of BGS responding to Sarge Willie Pete. And I want to get in on this. I definitely want to get in on this. Yes, I am not ADOS, Haitian descent. So my dynamics are a bit different. But Mr. Z's name, IRL name, is ambiguous enough that if you don't know, you don't know. And so, yes, millennial here. And to BGS, I will say yes, what Sarge Willie Pete is saying is accurate. That is how young black men are made to feel. F what black women are overtly saying. Forget what the academics are saying and what they're saying in their institutions and at HBCUs. This is how they really feel, and they make sure, at least for us as millennials and Gen Z, they make sure to hit you with 10 tons of that, right? So, let's get to it. So Mr. Z has said this before, pretty much almost verbatim what Sarge Willie Pete expressed here. We have said this on um, a black woman's perspective. Shout out to Sister George and Concrete Rose. We have said this on my own channel. We have said this before. Black women truly feel as if black men owe them for slavery and Jim Crow, and they are angry at the world. One slight caveat, though, one slight thing that I will say that I don't know if Sarge would agree with this, but I will add: black women are angry at white men, white women, and black men. They just can't do anything to white women and white men. So that anger and that rage is triple fold, right? Threefold on black men, right? They hit black men with that because they can't do anything to the other quote unquote offending parties. I will say, right? They are livid. Black women are angry that they cannot perform womanhood. And the way they respond to that, I would say, is two. They either go hyper feminine. This is where you get the Chrissies. This is where you get black women in luxury. This is where you get the, I can't just be a woman now. I got to take white womanhood and smother it with luxury in order to be even better than your standard white woman. So I got to be upper middle class and above, really rich and wealthy. I don't have to, I shouldn't have to lift a pinky. Y'all have heard Z say that before. I wasn't joking. This is the sentiment. Don't expect them to say it. They're not going to say it. Well, most of them won't say it anyway. Huh? And on the other side, I would say you get the Khadijas. You get the women that are calling themselves quote unquote queer, the black women who are calling themselves queer. Because what they're saying is, I don't fit nice and neat into white womanhood, namely upper middle class and above, but white womanhood. And because I don't fit in white womanhood, damn it to hell, F that, I'm not performing none of it. I do what I want to do, how I want to do it. If I want to wake up and put on the weave and the 3 feet long eyelashes and whatnot, I'll do it. And if I don't, then I'll go on the other side and I will masculinize myself because it's all a social construct anyway. It's not real, right? And performing womanhood won't matter anyway because I don't get to be a white woman. So I shouldn't be held to those standards. F the standards. F the rules. Huh? So yes, BGS on that, Sarge is right. I'm not saying that he's right about whether we should what we should do with this quote unquote R war, as you said, R word, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, that is the sentiment. That sentiment, especially for us as millennials, whether it was said overtly or not, and it was not said overtly, let's be fair, but it was definitely implied, suggested, and inferred. And y'all gives you a second, y'all gives you a second. We're getting breakfast. Y'all gives you a second. Y'all talk amongst yourselves. And we're back. We are back. So the reason why I'm covering this is because this is something that Z has expressed multiple times, sometimes in a joking manner, in a joking fashion, and other times far more serious than that. It really is that, right? They feel so put upon, and even Foreign spoke on this, right? Foreign man in a foreign land on waving the red flag spoke on this, right? That the black women that were speaking about black men not attending college is because of the way they see status, upward mobility, and how a man is supposed to perform. You cannot levy this on women. It's not a you do it too, because black women want to pull that, right? The way men are supposed to, air quotes, supposed to perform, the way this is gendered, is that women can say, I don't get to be her because you're not him. In other words, I don't get to be a woman, white woman, because you're not a white man, because you're not a man, you're not a white man, because you're not performing like a white man. Say it, Z, the word that they hate, because you're not performing like a patriarch, white patriarch. You have not put me in my feminine. How often do we hear that in the black community? Huh? And you just can't levy it the other way. Not only can you not levy it the other way, no one says it the other way. That sounds soft and pathetic. You cannot say as a man, oh, I'm not a man because you're not a woman. And because you're not performing like a woman, because you're not performing like a white woman, I'm not performing like a white man. Show me the men saying that. Show me the black men saying that. I'll wait. Huh? And so, yes, black women in particular are saying to black men that because you're not performing manhood, I can't perform womanhood. I can't be a woman, a white woman. And I agree with Sarge Willie Pete that in their mind, everything you do is paying a debt. They owe you nothing. Black women owe black men nothing. Absolutely nothing. Not being kind, not being cordial, not breaking off a smile, nothing. For those of us that remember the Kevin Samuels stream that he did where he asked black women, huh? Black women owe black men nothing. And they have made this painfully clear, right? Particularly with the advent of social media. They have made this painfully clear. Everything black men do, you are paying a debt. You are paying a debt because you have her on the same planet. Y'all have heard Z say this a million times. You have her on the same planet, in the same solar system, in the same galaxy as white women, having to suffer the indignity of not being a quote unquote woman, white woman. Once again, don't expect black women, the masses of them, to say it out loud. They're not going to. Every once in a while, you'll have one with the ovaries to say it on social media, but they're always going to frame it differently. Your Christiany women, your religious women are going to frame it differently, right? Your materialistic, secular women are going to frame it differently. They're going to use different words, but all in all, what it comes down to is what Mr. Z just expressed. She don't get to be a woman because you're not a man. Huh? And you have her on the same planet as white women having to suffer the indignity of not being a woman. Huh? And it's not fair. Huh? So Sarge, I agree with that. With that, where BGS is 100% right is we don't owe black women that. And so shout out to BGS who said just skip to the end and go end up with the white man then. Just skip to the end and go end up with the non-black guys. Because if what you're doing is sending black men out there to be slaughtered, and by the way, that is what they're doing, Most of them just don't got the ovaries to say it. Yeah, you're supposed to die in mass for me. What's the point of you being here if I don't get to be her? Yes, you're supposed to die in mass. Yanni almost said it. Oops. When Yanni was mocking Dr. Umar Johnson and making fun of civil rights leaders, she got real close to saying it. Chrissy pretty much almost says it all the time. Cynthia G has pretty much said it. As a matter of fact, Cynthia G did say it. Not in those words. Cynthia G did say it. Yes, black men, it is your job to go out there. What did the Spartan women used to say? Either come back with your sword, or just come back with your shield or on it. Yeah, black women pretty much saying the same thing. Huh? Black women are pretty much saying the same thing, especially for the accomplished black women, the ones that got a couple of dollars, and they're in spaces with non-black folks, mainly white folks, some Asians, right? And they're not being chose up on. Do you know how angry she is? Do you appreciate how angry she is? If she's not being chosen, she's making pretty good money, she's successful, and she's not being chose up on? Huh? They're livid. And yeah, I said that also on a breakdown of women's perspective. The fact that many of these women live vicariously through these black female celebrities, and for them, it doesn't matter that the average black man is with the average black woman, a darker skinned black woman, 4C curls and all. No, but them celebrity Negroes though, huh? Those celebrity Negroes, those celebrity Negroes, those NBA players, those NFL players, those rappers and singers with the non-black wives and girlfriends, huh? They angry as hell. Those non-black women that are with celebrity black men, huh? And yeah, they think you, oh dear black celebrity men. It's not good enough if you hire black women. It's not good enough if you put them in the music video as the lead. In their mind, it's not good. You better be married to a dark-skinned, 4C curl black woman, preferably with a bit of weight on her. Huh? Preferably with a bit of weight on her. You owe black women that. Now, whether black women used to come out to your games, whether the black girls in high school looked your way, whether they cared about what you were talking about in college, none of that mean anything. Whether they used to make fun of you or mock you or bully you when you were a kid, whether they ignored you, when they told you you spoke weird, none of that means anything. The second you become any type of successful, you kick the white girl or the Latina or the Asian girl that you're currently with, kick her in the face, throw her out, and go catch you the darkest skin, 4C curled black woman you possibly can find. And make sure, for the love of God, every time they put a microphone and a camera in your face, make sure you extol the virtues of black women and say, you got to say these words, that you would be nothing without her. It don't matter if she wasn't with you shooting in the gym. Rest in peace, Kobe. Shout out to Rick Ross. It doesn't matter if she was with you shooting in the gym. You better make sure you say that your success, every ounce of your success, you owe to the nearest black women to you. Your mother, your wife and girlfriend, huh? Everybody else be damned. Those coaches be damned, huh? The recruits be damned, huh? If you have a father in your life, F him. He don't matter. It's all about the nearest women to you, black women to you. Z, don't you think you're being a bit hyperbolic? No. Huh? How many black women have the ovaries to say this out loud? Very few. How many of them feel this and definitely express it through action and every once in a while slip up and kind of say that? Yep, yep, a lot. Huh? Yikes. This is not about simply quote unquote protecting black women. No. This is about protecting their sensibilities and protecting them from the indignity of living on a planet with white women and having to suffer not being white women, not being the beauty standard, right? Which they are supremely sensitive to. Not being the beauty standard, having their femininity questioned by non-black folks. They love trying to blame black men for this. They're cowards. Yes, black women are cowards. They refuse to say it. Them white men ain't checking and make them feel less of women. Even when they're in the same spaces with the white guys, it makes them feel less of women. That the men, the guys, white men, aren't checking for them in any significant number. Most black women don't got the ovaries to say it. It's not about you, black man. We already know black men find a bunch of different women attractive, a bunch of different shapes, a bunch of different skin tones, a bunch of different hair textures. It doesn't matter what you think. It matters what, at the very least, rich and elite black men think, and definitely what any random old white man think. God forbid it's a white man with some resources and some fame. It doesn't matter what you think. It matters what Chris Evans thinks. Now, black women are going to take their anger of Chris Evans not choosing up on a black woman. They're going to take that off on you. Huh? God forbid Michael B. Jordan pop up with a non-black woman. So Chris Evans and Michael B. Jordan both don't got black women? Oh, yeah, they're living. Huh? Huh? Black women want elite black men to worship them. If they don't get to be white women, you better prostrate yourself. That was a perfect word BGS used. Prostrate yourself in front of them for the world to see, not in private, not just in the black community, not at church, not in black spaces. Huh? No, 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 no. In front of the world as rich, famous black men. That's the least you can do because you didn't win a race war. That's the least you can do. Is be rich and famous and bow to her in front of the world. If you ain't gonna win a race war, if you're not gonna beat the white man, then at least bow to the black woman as a rich, important black man. That's what this look. What y'all think this lady is actually saying? Play it for them, Z.
Men in Germany are treated way differently than black women in Germany. Black men are appreciated in Germany. Black men are put in a cultural sense, in a societal sense, you are seen as interesting, whereas black women are seen as lesser.
An experience,
a novelty in which you can approach voyeuristically, and it's dehumanizing. I was a member at Soho House, and I remember seeing a black man sitting there, and there was all these white women around him glorifying him, gawking at the fact that he was existing. And I think black men need to acknowledge that their lived experience in Germany is disproportional to that of a black woman in Germany.
What do you think she's saying? To go to BGS's question, all of that for some black woman's ego? Yes. I'm going to tag BGS and Sarge Willie P. Yes, BGS. Yes, all of that for some black woman's ego. That's what this lady is saying when she was in Germany. When she was in Germany and she saw the white women drooling and gawking at the black men in the club or in the bar or whatever restaurant they were at. And you know she saw it more than once. And she saw herself and other black women probably in the corner by themselves or doing their girlfriend thing. And I don't mean that, in the romantic sense, right? That sting, oh yeah, you owe her as a black man. And I mean this in this particular case, she means black men globally. Because if she's in Germany, what's the odds that it's an ADOS man? It could be, it could not be. No, she means if you're a black man, doesn't matter if you have share the same lineage per se. No, it is your job as a black man who the white women are gawking at in Germany. It is your job to make a public display, a public spectacle of getting up, walking to her and the other black women, and making sure that the light shines on her, dancing with her, making her laugh, making her smile, making sure you're rude to the white women. Z, this is too much. This is like some movie you sketching up. And any black woman listening to me, if y'all are honest, y'all know Mr. Z telling the truth. This is what y'all on. Oops. Maybe Khadijah's not because she's bisexual and non-binary and then right, pansexual and whatever she is. But if you're a heterosexual black woman, oh yeah, you know this is what it's really about. You don't have to lie to kick it. Huh? What you think this lady was talking about in Germany? Think about what she's saying. Black men need to know. Need to know what? That there's some, it's not all, we don't even know if it's most. But there's more non-black women that are willing to make a be public with their attraction to black men than there are non-black men who are willing to be public about their attraction to non-black women. And because of that, that makes black women feel even further insecure. And they want black men to know, okay, y'all want black men to know, fine. And do what with that information? Uh-oh. And to do what with that information? I told y'all what they want y'all to do with that information. Make a public spectacle and display of you repudiating and pushing away the advances of the white woman and approaching the black woman and bowing to her. Huh? And bowing to her. Right? What y'all think this is about? What's the next one? What y'all think this is about?
Something that has greatly disappointed me since I've been living here is the amount of coonery that I've seen in Tokyo. And sorry to say, but it's mainly from black men from America.
Really? Tell me more.
The way that I have to watch y'all treat me and my fellow black sisters like shit, but treat the Japanese women all delicately like they're special flowers is insane.
Are you complaining or just jealous?
Recently went to a club and this black guy was asking me how my experience is here dating, and I was telling him, and then he was like, well, I'm in heaven here because, you know, they like fetishize us, so they be worshiping us and doing whatever the fuck we want, so I'm in heaven. What? Nani? Or the black men that'll be talking to me, and then when we get done, they're like, I enjoyed the conversation, you're so cool, I love black women, I worship black women, I wish there was more in Tokyo, and then we'll go over to their Japanese girlfriend and then talk shit about us.
Huh, it looks like these American brothers are crushing it overseas, and you are jealous that these men are getting all the attention.
Yes, it's a jealousy that the men are getting all the attention, but it's also an anger that the men aren't telling the Japanese women, no, I'm going over there to the black woman, and making a spectacle out of saying, no, I'm going over there to the black women. Huh? Now, how much do I believe the story of a black man in Japan saying the Japanese women worship him and using the word worship? Oof. Dear black women, I don't know if black men have that type of insecurity to want to be worshipped. That's not really what black men are saying. That's what black women are saying. But I'm not sure a black man in Japan with white people there, is saying no. The Japanese women ain't worshiping Japanese men. The Japanese women aren't worshiping themselves. The Japanese women aren't worshiping whatever god or entity or deity they believe in. No, the Japanese women aren't worshiping Japanese men or some type of mythical, magical Asian men or even white men, which we know that's happening. No, the Japanese women are worshiping black men in Japan. I don't know, son, about that story. So that's the first story. The second story, black men are talking to you and saying, we worship black women. I don't know. I worship black women. I wish there were more black women here. Okay, maybe he said that. And we're back. Yeah. So how many black men are actually approaching you saying that they worship you or worship black women, then walking away to talk crap behind your back to their Japanese girlfriends and wives? I don't know. Something about that story. Huh? Something about that story. Either way, the fact that maybe more than not, Japanese men aren't really interested in that way, and this black woman and the Japanese women might be a bit more interested in black men. Like, there's a clip. Somebody please find it. It was some type of like panel discussion with black women. I'm talking about in studio panel discussion with black women, and a black woman did say something like that. These women are coming for our men, or something like that. Something. Please send it to Z. Send it to Z. Please send it to Z, because it's maybe no more than about 2 years old ish, if even that old. It's about maybe a year or two old at most. I don't. It's not 3 years old, maybe three, but it's definitely not 4 and 5 year old. It's about maybe 2 or 3 years old. That's like one of the few times you'll see a black woman actually say that. But for the most part, no. Black women make it seem as if it's black men, just like this young lady did. Black men chasing after the non-black women, whether it's in America or not. And then black men talking crap about black women to their face and definitely behind their back to these non-black women. Huh? So I definitely want to cover this with you guys. To BGS, I say, as a millennial, we were hit with this 10 tons. I'm pretty sure many extras were hit with it. Gen Z are hit with it, but Gen Z men are shrugging, and they don't. Gen Z men don't even care what black women are talking about. Gen Z black men don't even care what black women are talking about. They're not interested in trying to appease or help black women with their insatiable inferiority complex. I would argue that's why you see so many young black women engaging in same-sex loving relationships and throwing themselves at white men. Yes, it's because of the Chrissies and the crystalline Karazins and whatnot, the divested zealots and whatnot, the mahogany pinks. Yes, it's because of that in social media, but it's also because young black men have shown they're not going to break themselves and bend themselves into pretzels to assuage some type of insane, insatiable inferiority complex that black women have. Especially that you have going on with maybe second, maybe third generation of suburban blacks. Oh no, young black men said about that. Nope. Just because we was in school with the white folks and Timmy wasn't checking, Brad wasn't checking, I'm not going to break myself to make you to make you you know um what's the word I'm looking for? Miss Anne. It's not Miss Anne. Miss Anne's more middle age, right? I'm not gonna break myself to make you the white woman because the white guys in high school weren't checking for you, not in any real number anyway, and because they didn't validate your femininity as a child, Now I have to kill myself to validate your femininity, and it's still not real because I'm discount. I'm man not. Shout out to Dr. Tommy Curry. Right. I'm glad that we're hearing that. Hood Conservative seems like he's coming to these type of conclusions too concerning black women. Sarge Willie Pete, Mr. Z, y'all have been hearing Z speak like this for years now, right? It really is a tax on you as a black man for you not being politically, socially, economically, upper middle class, enriched, and elite white man, and for you not making the average black woman a upper middle class, rich, and elite white woman politically and socially, economically too, clearly, right? And that's where we are now. And so, yes, shout out to BGS. We don't owe black women that. And yes, black women are willing to watch black men get slaughtered. Now, are they willing to deal with it themselves? Absolutely not. Black women are not willing to lift a goddamn finger. And so when BGS is saying y'all do realize y'all gonna get got too. And when BGS puts it in historical record, and he also mentions, the history of what's going on in that little slice of Europe, that little slice of Europe they have in the Middle East. Yeah, first of all, the vast majority of black women don't even care nothing about that story. They don't know nothing. They don't care. All they know is one side is throwing rocks and the other side has tanks. They don't know nothing else. They don't know and they don't care. They don't know anything about World War II. They don't care. They don't know anything about, the generals forcing Japan to open up, forcing China to open up. They don't know anything about the Europeans. They don't know anything about the Opium Wars. They don't know anything. They don't care. They don't know that about the color hierarchy in Latin America, right? They don't know what white supremacy did to the world globally, that this is really not just a black thing. They don't know and they don't care. All they know is they have to suffer the indignity of not being white women, and it's black men's fault. It's black men's fault, white women's fault, and white men's fault, but it's really black men's fault. And they can't really do anything to white women and white men, so black men got to feel that. And black men owe them forever. This I agree with Sarge Willie Pete on. Nothing you doing is special because you should have been on that anyway, and you owe her that anyway because you got her suffering the indignity of not being politically and socially white women. Once again, don't expect black women to overtly say it. They don't got the ovaries to overtly say it. Not most of them anyway. When they say protect, they're talking a cartoonish version of protect. When they say provide, they're talking about they're talking about like opulent to the nth degree, like wealthy Jeff Bezos level provide. Bill Gates, Mark Zuckerberg, Elon Musk level of provide, and then still bow to her and other black women publicly for the world to see. How else is she supposed to feel like a true woman in America? When they say build, they mean Jeff Bezos level build. They mean Amazon build. All of this is to make up for them not being white women. And yes, Mr. Z did not forget what Black Uru said. He was 100% correct. All of that Uber Eats stuff and all of that stuff is for them to feel just a teeny bit aristocratic. Instacart and all that stuff, for black women in particular, it's for them to feel a bit aristocratic. Their food is coming to their door. Their groceries is coming to their door. Is it for convenience? Obviously, like it's not all about this mindset. A lot of it is though. Oops. Don't expect them to say it or admit it though. Thank you, Starman. Russian oligarch level provision. And that's why you saw a few months ago that comparison when black women, like you see American women, and it wasn't just black women, but Black women definitely participated. Look, American men say they are about going 50-50, but look at these Russian men. When they poll the Russian men say they protect, provide, and they believe in providing for their women. And then shout out to Media Man. Media Man did the research. The vast majority, just like everywhere else, of Russian men are nowhere near providing any type of 70-30, 80-20, 100% for Russian women. But just the idea and just Russian men saying it had American women, including black women, swooning. Huh? So on that note, y'all, I'm not gonna keep y'all too long. This is why this is a flyby. Um, um, right. So we'll be coming back a little bit. I'm trying to get together some stuff that I want to cover a little bit later on today. So hopefully, we will be covering the a couple of other things later on today. Y'all look out for that in a few hours. But we got things to do. We got things to do. This is a Reckless Streams. We will be coming back with another Reckless Streams. Like, share, subscribe. Hit the thank you button for the replay play squad. And all right, y'all. Mr. Z out. Y'all well. Let's make sure we do our intro correctly. Like, share, subscribe, hit the Z, get it right out right. Y'all go check out other Black Manosphere content. Well, other Black Manosphere content, other non-Manosphere content, for the love of God. And yeah, all right, y'all. Mr. Z out.